Social media is presently in complete paralysis due to the jaw-dropping shock of an absolute seismic nuclear weapon that just blasted throughout the whole global hip-hop scene. Drake's recent actions in response to Rick Ross's terrible album release and empty world tour venues have officially set the entertainment business on fire, even though we thought we had seen every conceivable degree of petty celebrity backlash. Drake made the decision that he would no longer remain silent following the disastrous commercial failure of Rick Ross's 12th studio album, Set in Stone, which sold a pitiful 2,000 pure album units in its first week, while his global tour venues were more than 80% empty. The Six God entered the arena and publicly declared that Rick Ross's musical career was officially over with a brutal, heartless 5-word response that went viral in less than 30 seconds. Music. Drake didn't only support 50 Cent's constant harassment. He went 10 steps farther and revealed in public that Ross's greatest boss identity is really a terrible, multi-million-dollar optical deception. Rick Ross, however, refused to give up. He retaliated with an angry and poisonous tirade, accusing Drake of utilizing streaming sabotage and automated bot farms in stealth to ruin his tour sales. Drake's 6-minute drop alters everything forever, so stay put. You must examine the extremely complicated, brotherly-turned-venomous past between Aubrey Drake Graham and William Leonard Roberts II, popularly known as Rick Ross, in order to fully comprehend the catastrophic, historic scope of this nuclear fallout. This is more than a simple argument on social media. One of the most lucrative and culturally significant collaborations in contemporary hip-hop history has completely and horrifyingly collapsed. Drake and Rick Ross were more than just casual partners for more than 10 years. They were an unstoppable force in the music industry. Hip-hop history was created each time these two titans entered a recording studio together. An entire era of opulent rap music was defined by the chemical synergy between Drake's smooth, melodic hooks and Rick Ross's booming, luxury-obsessed baritone, from timeless classics like Aston Martin music, Lord Knows, and Stay Schemin' to massive chart-topping anthems like Gold Roses and Money in the Grave. Music, they referred to one another as brothers. They frequently referred to their combined production as the gold standard of luxury rap, shared private aircraft, and had vacations on yachts in Miami and St. Tropez. Music, Rick Ross profited greatly from his partnership with OVO for many years. Drake immediately attracted a sizable, international pop crossover fan base to Maybach Music Group. Drake was always ready to provide Ross with a verse that would get hundreds of millions of streams whenever he needed a smash song to support the release of an album. In exchange, Ross gave Drake huge cosigns, street notoriety, and an air of untouchable, boss-level opulence. But behind the Platinum Awards and champagne toasts, music was gradually becoming entrenched in a quiet, acrimonious rivalry. Rick Ross started to struggle to hold on to his place in a quickly changing, streaming-dominated music industry as Drake became the most commercially powerful musician on Earth, shattering Billboard records previously held by the Beatles. Many classic artists were left susceptible by the transition from physical CD sales to digital algorithms, and Ross had to rely more and more on his partnerships with Drake in order to achieve top-tier chart placement. During Music, the intense 2024 rap warfare, the frail brotherhood ultimately broke into a million pieces. Rick Ross committed what many saw as the ultimate betrayal when the whole industry lined together to criticize Drake. Music, he chose to oppose his longtime brother. Ross entered the fight with a vicious diss tune called Champagne Moments, in which he made fun of Drake's appearance, questioned his sincerity, and came up with the disparaging moniker, Music, BBL Drizzy. Ross launched an unrelenting campaign of social media trolling, including videos of himself laughing at a VO, wearing personalized caricature t-shirts, and proclaiming that the Six God had been dethroned. The waiting game was performed by Drake, a musician renowned for his surgical long-term memory. He refrained from engaging in constant back-and-forth Instagram live streaming or jumping right into a physical brawl. Drake was aware of a basic rule in the music business. The finest time to serve revenge is when your adversary's balance sheet is visible. Drake carefully waited in the background, keeping an eye on Ross's professional development, analyzing his streaming data, and anticipating the precise time when the Maybach empire would reveal a devastating, irreversible point of commercial weakness. With the release of Rick Ross's 12th studio album, Set in Stone, and his well-reported port of Miami Orchestra Global Tour, that moment came. Music, Ross presented the project as his great victory lap, assuring supporters that he could demonstrate his continued dominance without the support of Drake or major labels. However, the results were a complete nightmare when industry tracking databases received the official first-week sales figures. Every business executive in the music industry was rocked by the album's startlingly low 2,096 pure sales, a statistic so dreadfully low for a legendary hero. To make matters even worse, venue seating charts for Ross's worldwide tour revealed enormous venues with 10,000 seats that were more than 80% vacant. As a result, promoters were forced to offer desperate buy one get 50% off ticket deals, music, in order to fill seats. The first to launch an assault was 50 Cent, who viciously mocked Ross's poor attendance and empty venues on Instagram. However, the world was awaiting the opinion of one particular individual. Sitting in Toronto, gazing at the same empty seating charts was the guy known as BBL Drizzy, whose lyrics had carried Ross's biggest hits for 15 years. The trap was set off. The receipts had been distributed. And Drake was about to react in a way that would plunge Rick Ross's world into sheer turmoil. Officially, the nuclear explosion happened at 2:45 a.m. The M, standard time in the East. Drake was seen with his core OVO inner circle in the VIP area of a prestigious Toronto venue. On Instagram, a well-known nightlife influencer posted a live video of music, Drake standing close to the DJ booth with a drink of high-end tequila. Sensing the high-stakes atmosphere in the room, the DJ Music abruptly stopped the music and played a clip of the famous Aston Martin music intro by Rick Ross. In particular, when Ross yells his well-known Maybach music tag, Drake did not disregard it. He didn't leave. Rather, Drake took a leisurely sip from his glass, stared straight into the live streaming phone's camera lens, laughed icily and sarcastically, and shook his head with complete, unadulterated contempt. Drake said over the microphone, "Turn that ghost town music off," with a horrifying clarity that sliced throughout the venue's speakers. Tell BBL Ricky to repay those 2,000 music purchasers. The career is officially over, the record is dead, and the tour is empty. Go assist him in packing those vacant seats. Screams of sheer, unrestrained chaos erupted across the arena. After being taken from the live broadcast and posted on X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, the video received over 25 million views in less than 45 minutes. Music, Drake wasn't satisfied with a vocal position at a nightclub. An hour after the video went viral, Drake posted a string of postings on his official Instagram account, which has over 140 million followers, that methodically destroyed Rick Ross's biggest boss persona. Music, Drake shared a comparison of screenshots. A high-resolution picture of Rick Ross's personalized $35 million Gulfstream G550 private aircraft with the words, "Biggest Boss, Music," painted on the engine turbines was displayed on the left. An authentic, certified Ticketmaster seating map for Rick Ross's forthcoming Denver performance was displayed on the right. It showed the whole venue covered in blue, indicating that thousands of seats were still unsold. Drake used a vicious, razor-sharp bar as the post's caption, which went viral right after. "You can't sell 2,000 CDs to pay for the theater lights, but you can paint Biggest Boss on a plane that you can't afford to fuel. Ricky, 2,000 copies isn't a release. Music, it's a familial order." Everyone noticed that the stage was empty when the curtain came down, grinning and squinting. Music, RIP to the legend of Maybach. It's finished. The internet blew up. The strike caused devastating psychological harm. 50 Cent entered Drake's comment section right away, stating, "I told you, Drizzy," along with 20 laughing emojis. In his own city, he is offering 50% off. The jig is up. Every social media feed was inundated with memes. Digital artists produced side-by-side movies of Drake singing in stadiums with 50,000 seats, while superimposing cricket sounds over footage of Rick Ross's small concert audiences. Music, the optics were totally lethal. Ross had protected himself with an image of limitless, music, untouchable riches for 15 years. However, Drake had turned that illusion into a national laughingstock by using cold, objective concert stats. There was complete chaos inside Rick Ross's private estate near Star Island, Miami. According to leaked Music reports from state employees, Ross was watching the drama play out on a large wall-mounted screen while seated in his living room. Ross allegedly fell into a horrifying, blind rage when Drake's Instagram image went viral. Throwing a crystal decanter against a glass coffee table, shattering it into pieces, and yelling at his management team to put his security and public relations teams on an emergency conference call. Ross was stuck in a bad dream. The world would believe Drake's claim that his career was officially over if he remained silent. However, he ran the danger of bringing his poor album sales and empty venues to the notice of a wider audience if he answered. Music, Rick Ross made the decision to go nuclear out of pure, unadulterated rage. Through his PR, he did not send out a courteous news release. 4:15 a.m. The M, wearing a silk robe, smoking a cigar, and staring into the camera with bloodshot, angry eyes, Ross started an emergency, music, unexpected Instagram live stream straight from his patio. "You're a corporate puppet and a complete snake, Drake." Ross's voice trembled with tremendous anger as he yelled into the phone. "Music, you're sitting there discussing how empty my tour locations are? Let's be honest with everyone about the reasons behind those ticket websites' malfunctions. Let's discuss the streaming sabotage squad and automated bot farms that are funded behind the music scenes." With over 500,000 live watchers, the live discussion descended into complete chaos. Ross leaned forward and pointed at the camera with a diamond-encrusted ring. Ross made a startlingly stunning accusation. He said that in order to initiate a major, well-planned digital sabotage effort against Maybach Music Group, Drake and his corporate associates at Avio had covertly engaged a well-known cybersecurity company and an automated bot network. According to Ross, Drake's team used algorithmic suppression to prevent his new album tracks from showing up on popular editorial streaming playlists, while also purposefully flooding ticket distribution servers with fictitious hold orders to make venue seating maps seem empty. To casual fans, "You blocked my streams by spending millions of dollars behind closed doors." Ross's face, Music, became crimson with rage as he yelled. "You are afraid of what will happen if the actual song is released without your company's support. Music, do you think my career is over? I used my own hands to construct this kingdom. My land is mine. My wingstops are mine. My master's degree is mine. Music, the voice on your albums is not even your own. 5 separate ghostwriters worked together in a room to compose your tunes." It was an angry, desperate attempt to flip the script and claim that Music, Drake's business sabotage, was to blame for his commercial failure. However, Ross's entire defense became a nightmare when a huge second unforeseen twist appeared just as he was wrapping up his angry tirade. A confirmed leaked email from Rick Ross's own distribution company was released by a well-known music industry news site 3 weeks prior to the album's release. An email that was leaked revealed Ross's executive team acknowledging in stark black and white text that pre-orders were so low that the label was thinking of withdrawing all radio promotion funds because there was no natural consumer demand for this project. Music, the disclosure went viral on the internet. While his own label's internal emails demonstrated that everyone at Maybach Music knew the album was going to fail weeks before it was released, Ross was live on stream blaming Drake's spot farms for his failure. Complete, ruthless ridicule broke out in the live discussion. Music, viewers started posting, "Your own label said you flopped, Ricky," and flooding the stream with clown emojis. Put an end to Music blaming Drake. After realizing that his own label's email had just been exposed live on television, Ross looked over the comments, froze in complete panic, and immediately stopped the live stream without saying anything further. The catastrophe continued despite Rick Ross's live feed abruptly ending. A worldwide digital earthquake was set off by it. Hip-hop reaction channels, news organizations, and financial channels all went into overdrive. Every major entertainment media covered the storyline that Drake had finally put an end to Rick Ross's musical career. On every social media platform throughout the globe, the hashtags #DrakeFinishes #BrickyFlop, and #Maybach were at the top. Then followed the second huge, unanticipated turn of events that turned this quarrel from a small-scale online joke into a high-stakes corporate legal drama. 11:30 a.m. The M. In a shocking story, an investigative journalist revealed that Drake's legal team had recently formally served Rick Ross and Maybach Music Group with an intellectual property audit notice and a multi-million-dollar cease and desist demand. Music. A stunning, unprecedented discovery that rocked the music industry as a whole was included in the lawsuit. The documents state that Drake's legal team is formally revoking Rick Ross's permission to perform, stream, or make money off of any of their well-known joint songs, such as Aston Martin Music, Gold Roses, Lord Knows, and Money in the Grave, during his current world tour or upcoming live appearances. Go back and read that. Drake was not only amused with Ross's lackluster tour. Music. He made it official that Rick Ross will never again perform their biggest hits. According to the legal demand, OVO is exercising its contractual right to freeze all performance clearance licenses across international venue networks because Ross violated master licensing and co-ownership agreements by publicly disparaging Drake's brand and using his likeness to fuel promotional controversy. Drake's legal team will immediately file multi-million-dollar copyright infringement lawsuits against venue promoters if Rick Ross attempts to play the hook or verse to Aston Martin Music or Money in the Grave on a stage anywhere in the globe. The whole business was stunned by the move's stunning cunning. The most well-liked, crowd-pleasing songs from Rick Ross's whole concert set list had been essentially taken away by Drake. Consider the implications for a Rick Ross performance. Ross is forced to play in front of already empty stadia without the same songs that fans paid to hear after Drake's smashes are removed from his set list. Drake took advantage of the legal strike right away, sharing a brief video on his Instagram story of himself relaxing by the pool at his embassy mansion in Toronto while playing an acoustic guitar and sipping a drink. Drake added a statement that struck a brutal finishing blow, even though he didn't say anything in the video. "Ricky, you are no longer able to perform my hits to fill your empty seats. Instead, play those 2,000 record sales. Officially, it is over." Zipper mouth, music, face. The internet went utterly crazy. The scenario became the most embarrassing corporate execution in hip-hop history when it became apparent that Rick Ross was now legally prohibited from performing the biggest hits of his career. Music. TikTok and X were inundated with memes of Rick Ross standing by himself on a stage with a microphone in complete quiet. In a panic, promoters who had scheduled Ross for future festival performances called his management team and demanded to know whether he could really deliver the set list he had promised. There was a complete collapse inside Ross's camp. Due to the possibility of venue copyright claims from Drake's legal team, two major European festival organizers quickly put Ross's impending headline slots on administrative hold, according to sources within Maybach Music. Ross was up against a total professional checkmate. Drake had legally taken his biggest hit recordings away from him when his album failed, his tour was unsuccessful, and his own company acknowledged there was no demand. Rick Ross's legal team launched a desperate emergency counteroffensive, driven to the brink of despair. They said in a public statement that they were filing an emergency federal injunction to stop Drake's performance limitations, arguing that the cease and desist was an illegal, bad-faith attempt to impede commerce and ruin an independent artist's tour. Ross's attorneys claimed that Drake was misusing his corporate authority to ruin Ross's live touring business, and that Gold Roses and Aston Martin Music were shared cultural assets that belonged to the fans. However, as the public was waiting to see if a federal court would intervene, Drake's legal team released a single, horrifying statement that caused the whole industry to stand still. Since formal lawsuit will oblige Rick Ross to provide his full, unfiltered tour ticket sales, streaming accounting, and venue capacity data under federal court oath, we applaud the court hearing. It posed a deadly menace. Ross would be legally compelled to provide his precise, humiliating ticket sales data in public federal court records for everyone to see if he pursued the injunction. Music. As the feud between Drake and Rick Ross reached a fever pitch, the whole world of entertainment descended into utter, unimaginable lunacy. One of the most poisonous and violent internet discussions in music history resulted from the culture's extreme division. Supporters of OVO and hashtag Team Drake proclaimed a complete, resounding win. Every platform's comment sections were inundated with fans praising Drake as a cold-blooded strategic mastermind who had exacted the ultimate revenge for Ross's treachery during the 2024 rap battles. For 10 years, Drake gave Rick Ross his greatest hits. When Ross betrayed him, Drake, music, reclaimed the hits. You can't call a man BBL Drizzy for 6 months and then expect him to let you perform Aston Martin music to pay your mortgage, said a widely shared tweet with over 180,000 likes.